Hey, hey, ho, ho. Mr. Fields has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Hey, hey, welcome to the Mr. Fields podcast where we talk about everything mental illness related. I'm your host, Tyler May.
And I'm your other host, Laura Benson. And on this podcast, we will be opening a conversation about everything mental health related. We want to build a community and talk about things that are otherwise really uncomfortable and taboo.
Yeah, I feel like basically the major goal of this podcast is to educate people about different various mental illnesses. And so we're going to be interviewing a bunch of different people with a lot of different problems and mental illnesses who've gone through things that maybe a lot of us haven't experienced. So we can get a better, deeper understanding about those things.
Or a lot of things that maybe we have experienced and we lack resources or community to talk about them.
So essentially, we're creating a space for people to feel a lot less alone. And I think that's really cool because while we're doing that, we're going to be able to make people also be able to understand all of these things that they've just probably have never heard about because people don't talk about these things. We struggle ourselves with mental illnesses, and a big part of why it took us so long to figure that out is because nobody really talks about it that much. And so a lot of people, I'm finding out more and more every day, are struggling with problems on the inside and mental health problems. And so I think we should talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, in my own experience, anytime I kind of open the door for conversation around any of these topics, whether it's depression or anxiety or, myriad of other things, I'm often met with similar experience, and my understanding of the people around me deepens tenfold, and we're able to connect in this way that is really vulnerable and really scary for both of us potentially, but it's so important, especially when it's mental health related, because it's something that so many people deal with or have, family members who are dealing with. And it's just important to talk about this and release ourselves from the burden of bearing it alone, really.
Yeah, and what makes us qualified to run a podcast about this? Absolutely nothing. But we both have bipolar 2, and so we kind of have experiences with being mentally ill, and
we definitely have experience.
We run the whole gamut. We've been to some real dark places. We've been through some stuff, but so has everybody else. And so let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. How do you feel about that, Laura?
I feel great about it.
I feel good about it too. So if you want to keep up with us, follow us on Twitter at Mr. Fields Podcast, and we also have a website, mrfieldspodcast.com, where you can stream episodes, and we're even starting a Patreon so that we can build a community surrounding mental health and awareness about different mental illnesses. And so I think that's pretty rad. I hope that you think it's pretty rad. Laura thinks it's pretty rad, don't you?
I think it's pretty rad.
So join us for the ride. You can listen to episode 1 right now on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We hope you enjoy the conversations as much as we do.